Hello, my name is Neven and I will talk about trans healthcare in France.
Hello, my name is Oliver and I'm a trans guy who makes videos about LGBTQIA+ people where they get to talk about anything that they want that somehow relates to them being queer. I'm currently traveling by train through Europe, and in Bordeaux, France, I met up with Neven.
My name is Neven and I consider myself as a transmasculine, nonbinary person. I'm 27 years old and I live in France.
This is how he realized that he's trans.
For a long time I didn't feel I was a woman, but I didn't feel I was a man either. For me it was not something to think about, it was just that way and that's it. I felt that I didn't have other options, like I just feel I don't fit, but just that's it. For some moment I tried to be more a woman as I thought I should be, like in high school, because you know it's the moment you try things, and but it was really not comfortable for me. I think it's really with social media that I discovered a new world, kind of, during the pandemic. It helped. Yeah, I discovered non-binary. I already knew like trans subject a bit, but it was kind of blurry, I think, for me. So I discovered a lot of people on internet with different personalities, and that's how I started to think about myself and to experiment a bit.
So then he had figured out who he was, and he kept that to himself for a while.
So at first I thought, yes, that's it, I'm non-binary, I'm not woman, not man, it's good to me that way. But it was just like, for me, it was very personal. I didn't talk about it with a lot of people, only my boyfriend, I think. And I didn't change anything about my behavior, my clothes. With time and also with community, I think, because I've met people from the LGBT community. I tried other things, like to change my pronouns, maybe to try other names. And with time, I just kind of defined myself a bit better, to know what I want.
But then he felt the need for a change.
One time, I don't know what was the beginning of this, but I had a need to change things in my social life. I needed to tell people to change the pronouns and the name, and if they can, the way they see me also. Also the medical process a bit helped me with that, because I kind of had the feeling that I can't ask people to use different pronouns if I'm still a woman in their head. I don't know, for me it was too difficult for them, like they can't do it in my mind, you know. So I preferred to start hormones before to ask that. And yeah, it was the beginning for all the rest of the social transition. But even though now for people I ask to use masculine pronouns, what is difficult for me is that I still feel non-binary, and now I'm kind of in between, that I feel I have to look masculine, like to be taken seriously, even if sometimes I want to be hyper feminine, and sometimes I want to use makeup and to have feminine clothes, but I know I don't do it because I'm in the transition and I'm not on hormones for a long time. So I kind of wait to look more masculine before to allow myself to do feminine stuff. It's kind of weird. I would love to do just what I want, but yes, it's kind of a balance every time.
Something that has helped Neven feel really affirmed in his identity is drag performers.
It helps me to have words to understand, but also to have representation. Like some of my friends are doing drag shows, and for me it was so helpful, because a lot of people in drag show are cis men, and even if they are cis men, they can be hyper feminine. And for me it helped me to understand myself and to see what I can do. And yeah, it's kind of a very joyful thing to to help other people, I think, to do drag shows. It's really amazing.
The gender-affirming care in France can be quite difficult to navigate.
At first, I had a lot of help from my community, like about information. We have some association in the city to help, and also some friends who have more information because they did it before me. So the first thing for me was to go to my doctor to talk about it and to try to have, it's called ADL in French. It's for long-term affection. It's really an administrative thing because it's for people who are sick normally when it's for a long time. That way you don't have to pay for medication when it's specifically for the disease. So administratively, to be trans is a disease. But I had to ask to my doctor first. My doctor, she doesn't know anything about trans identity, and it was very hard the first time I talked with her because usually an appointment is 15 or 20 minutes. I think she kept me like maybe 30 minutes just talking about the fact that she had a patient once and she was sick because her daughter was trans, and like of just saying that I have to really think about it, that I have to be sure, and I have to think about my family, how they will react, and she refused to do it because for her she wasn't able to say if I don't know if I'm able to take this decision, or I don't know. So she asked me to go to a psychiatrist, which is quite common actually in France to start from a psychiatrist, even though it's not an obligation.
The trans community in France has lists of which psychiatrists are helpful and who isn't when it comes to giving access to gender-affirming care.
Thanks to the community, I contacted a psychiatrist well known to do the paper quite easily compared to some others. So I had that paper, I went back to my doctoress and she said, okay, I will fill the form for you. Thanks to that, I don't have to pay the specific doctors like endocrinologists or the medication. Then I went to the endocrinologist to do some tests to be sure everything is okay in order to have hormones. And then with the second appointment, everything was okay, thankfully. And he prescribed me the hormones and told me how to do it myself, if I want to do it myself, even though I could ask to a nurse. And yeah, that's how it started. And so the first time I contacted a nurse to do it, then I learned to do it myself, and now it's much more easier to, don't have to contact somebody, do appointments and so on. And I have to see my endocrinologist every 4 months to just check if everything is okay.
Compared to what our trans siblings have to go through in so many other countries, this seems to be a fairly quick and easy process.
It's because I decided to go myself to different doctors, and I knew who to contact to be sure everything will be okay. But there is another way, which is I think it's in hospitals, you have different doctors supposed to be not specialists, but not a bit better about trans identity. So you contact them and you start with their psychiatrist, and it's their endocrinologist. So it's good because it's really easy once you are in the structure, but it's really slow. If I wanted to go that way, which is great because you don't have to pay anything, everything is free, but I think you have to wait 1 or 2 years, and then you see the psychiatrist and you have a minimum of 2 or 3 before to go to, and it's so long. I didn't want to wait so much. It's long because they don't have enough doctor, and there are so many people in need for this that they don't have time. So it's sad. Thankfully it exists, but it would be better if they have more doctors and for everyone.
Neven wants to end the video with some appreciation for the queer and trans community.
For me, what really helps is the community. Like what helps us to understand ourselves and to have a safe space to experiment. It can be just online if you don't have the things in your city. It helps me, and now I can help others, you know. I'm so thankful that I have to share it with others, and even with people who are not from the community, I think I try to educate people, and some people thank me because they know nothing about it, and some are eager to learn. Unfortunately, the difficult thing is not every time, but for me, it was mostly my head. I was afraid of a lot of things, but when I came out, I realized that there was nothing to fear. You know, everybody was so open and helpful, and so yeah, I think we have more allies than what we think.
If you enjoyed watching that video, please like, comment, subscribe and share the video. I really appreciate you showing your love in that way. If you also want to support the channel financially, that's possible via Patreon, but really no pressure. See you next time!